Hey, welcome to Unboxing Sunday. And I think I could be wrong, but go with the flow here, please. Ladies fiction, women's fiction. And I think, cross your fingers, they're mostly ladies authors. I'm not sure yet, but I believe that's what's in this box. So, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina KISTINA. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smancy stuff going on here. So let's get started. This is a big, huge box. And, The King of Crows, Libya Bray. New York City, 1927. Behind the glitz and glamour of the Jazz Age, something wicked awaits. The diviners are in for the night of their lives against the King of Crows and his army of the dead. With Sam missing, Evie mourning, Theta's power going unstable, and Memphis and Isaiah hunted by the sinner's shadow men, the diviners aren't exactly in fighting shape. Their only hope lies in startling vision of a mysterious girl in bountiful Nebraska who could shift the balance of power and stop the King of Crows, though she will need the diviners' help to do it. When a betrayal turns the diviners into a wanted fugitive, getting to her is no longer a hope but a necessity. 2020. This is kind of new. Zipporah's wife of Moses, Merrick Holster. In the time of the Pharaoh, a tiny infant is rescued from the banks of the Red Sea. She is called Zipporah, the little bird. Although she is a Cushite by birth, one of the black people of the lands to the south, she is taken in by Jethro, high priestess and sage of the Medites. Jethro adores his adopted daughter, and she is an honored member of the family. But the blackness of Zipporah's skin sets her apart and will decide her future. She will be an outsider, and the men of her adopted tribe will not want her as wife. But when she becomes a young woman, Zipporah's destiny changes forever. While drawing water at a well one day, she meets a handsome stranger. Young man like her is an outsider, a foreigner. His name is Moses. A Hebrew raised in the house of Pharaoh, Moses is a fugitive forced to flee his homeland of Egypt after murdering one of the Pharaoh's cruel overseers. Zipporah almost knows immediately this man will be her husband and the partner she never thought she would have. At first, Moses wants nothing more than a peaceful life in the Midianites. He is content in his role as Zipporah's lover and the honorary son of Jethro the sage. But Zipporah refuses to let Moses forget his past or turn away from what she believes is his true destiny. Julia Gregson, Monsoon Summer. Oxfordshire, 1947. Kit Smallwood, hiding a painful secret and exhausted from nursing soldiers during the World War II, escapes to Wick Farm, where her friend is setting up a charity sending midwives to the Moonstone home in South India. Then Kit meets and falls in love with Anto, a charming trainee doctor nearing the end of his English education. When Anto informs his family that he is shortly to return home with an English bride, his parents are appalled, as is Kit's Anglo-Indian mother, who spent most of her life trying to forget a painful Indian past. Despite the threat of estrangement, Kit is excited for the future, hungry for adventure, and deeply in love. So, 2016. Casey Gray, Discount. Set in the American Southwest, 40 miles north of Juarez, Casey Gray's ambitious tragic comic and ultimately redemptive novel follows a group of customers employees through the 24-hour work cycle as they seek comfort and sustenance inside of the cinder blocks of a classic American institution, the Superstore. The Observatory, Emily Grayson. Teeny tiny. From the best-selling author of The Gazebo comes The Observatory, a deeply affecting novel about the tangled bond between two sisters and the riveting story of unexpected love. Though the Mallory women are twins, nobody has ever been trouble telling them apart. Harper is famous and a wild painter who lives in the wealthy enclave of Stone Point, New York, while Liz lives a vastly different existence as a librarian in their upstate hometown of Longwood Falls. Over time, the sisters have drifted apart, settling into their separate lives for better or for worse. But a family tragedy, the accidental death of Harper's young daughter, forces them to confront each other for the first time in years. Itty bitty. The Printmaker's Daughter, Catherine Govier. Recounting the story of her life, Ori plunges us into the colorful world of the 19th century, in which courtesans rub shoulders with poets, warriors, consorts with actors, and the arts flourish in an unprecedented moment of creative upheaval. Oi and Hosky live among writers, novelists, tattoo artists, and prostitutes, evading the spies of the representative shogunate as they work in Hosky's countless painting and prints. Wielding her brush, rejecting domesticity in favor of dedication to the arts, Oi defies all expectations of womanhood, all but one, a dutiful daughter to the last. She will obey the will of her eccentric father, the man who created her and who ultimately will rob her of her place in history. The Sentinels of Andersonville, Tracy Groot. Here, near the end of the Civil War, inhumane conditions of Andersonville prison caused the death of 13,000 Union soldiers in only 14 months. In this gripping and affecting novel, three young Confederates, an entire town, came face to face with the prison's atrocities and learned the cost of compassion when withheld and when given. Sentry Dance Pickett has watched helpless for months as conditions in the camp have worsened day by day. He knows any mercy will be seen as treason. Southern Belle Violet Stiles cannot believe the good folks of America would knowingly condone such barbarism, despite their losses they've suffered. When her goodwill campaign stirs of accusations of human sympathy and endangers her family, she realizes she will have to tread carefully. Daniel Steele, The House. Perched on a hill overlooking San Francisco, the house was magnificent, built in 1923 by a wealthy man for his woman he adored. For her and his house, he would spare no expense and overlook no detail. From the endless marble floors to the glittering chandeliers, almost a century later, with the once grand house now in disrepair, a young woman walks through its empty rooms. Sarah Anderson, a perfectly sensible estate lawyer, is about to do something utterly out of character. An elderly client has died and left her two gifts. One is a generous inheritance, the other is a priceless message to use his money for something wonderful, something daring. And in this house, surrounded by crumbling grandeur, Sarah knows just what it is. I guess she's going to restore the house. Susan Whitted Albert, The Darling Dahlias, and the Texas Star. The Texas Star herself, Miss Lily Dare, the fastest woman in the world, is bringing her Daredevil's flying circus to Darling. Unfortunately, she's also bringing a whole lot of trouble. As the Dahlias prepare for the annual Watermelon Festival, where they will present the famous female Avatrix with her own Texas Star hibiscus, rumors are flying. Dahlia's president Lizzie Lacey learns from newspaperman Charles Dickens that Miss Dare has been threatened and her plane sabotaged. Apparently, the bold and beautiful barnstormer has made plenty of enemies, and is it possible she may even be involved with the husband of one of Darling's local ladies? I don't know. Caught cat brushing, Jane Campbell. At cat brushing, the provocative debut by 80-year-old Jane Campbell vigorously explores the central words of 13 older women, unearthing their passions, appetites, integrity, and sense of self-worth as they fight prevalent misconceptions and stereotypes of aging. Okay. Call me Elizabeth Lark. Um, Let's see. I hate when they put. I didn't even see this. That's what happens when you get a box out of a book out of a box, whatever. 20 years ago, Myra Barkley's daughter disappeared from the rocky beach across the family inn on Oregon's coast. Ever since, Myra has waited at the front desk for her child to come home. One rainy afternoon, the miracle happens. Her missing daughter, now 28 years old with a child of her own, walks in the door. Elizabeth Lark is on the run with her son. She's just killed her abusive husband and needs a place to hide. Against her better judgment, she heads to her hometown and stops at the Barkley Inn. When the innkeeper insists that Elizabeth is her long-lost daughter, the opportunity for a new life, and more importantly, the safety of her child is too much for her to pass up. The care and handling of roses with thorns. 36-year-old Gal Garner lives a regimented life. Her job teaching biology and her struggle with kidney disease keep her toggling between the high school, the hospital, and her home on a strict schedule. Only in her garden does Gal come alive, cross-pollinating specimens of Halthemia roses in hopes of creating a brand new variation of spectacular beauty and winning the queen of the show. Danielle Steele, The Good Fight. Against the electrifying backdrop of the 1960s, Danielle Steele unveils the gripping chronicle of a young woman discovering the passion for justice of the unsung heroes she encounters on her quest to fight for the good fight. The daughter and granddaughter of a prominent Manhattan lawyer, Meredith Mackenzie, is destined for the best of everything: top schools, elite social circles, the perfect marriage. Spending her childhood in Germany as her father prosecutes Nazi war criminals at the Nuremberg trials, Meredith soaks up the conflict between good and evil as it plays out in real time. When her family returns to the United States, she begins blazing her own trail, swimming against the tides, spurred on by her free-thinking liberal grandfather determined to become a lawyer, despite her traditional conservative father's objections. She rebels against her parents' expectations for her debutante ball and other conventions. She forges a long friendship with a young German Jewish woman whose family died in the concentration camps, and while her grandfather rises to the Supreme Court, Meredith enlists in the most depressing cause of her time, fighting for the civil rights and the end to the Vietnam War. That's a lot. She's doing a lot. Laurie Copeland, Virginia Smith, A Bride for Noah. It's 1851 and Evie Lawrence is penniless, heartbroken after a failed romance when a kind elderly man announces his plan to move west and make his fortune. Evie jumps at the chance to go with him and start a new life. She says goodbye to the only home she's ever known and sets out for the west. There she meets Noah Hughes, a handsome young man who has gambled everything he owns on the chance to make a fresh start. Living the rugged life of lumberjack, he too was determined to one day make his fortune. The last thing he's looking for is a bride. I bet he gets one. There was an awful lot of authors in here. What my mother gave me, 31 women on gifts that mattered most. I am not going to list all these authors in the description. Roxana Robinson, Caroline Levitt, Maud Newton, Jane Han Corlett, Kathy Pollitt, Anne Hood, Margot Jefferson, Emma Straub, Mary Gordon, Judith Hillman Patterson, Cheryl Pearl Sucker, Abigail Pogrebin, Reverend Lillian Daniels, Cecilia Mose, Eliza Chappell, Karen Carbo, Charlotte Silver, and many, many more. A couple of silly books. Oh, wait a minute. No, we'll do those in the teen. These are teen, right? I think these are teen. All right, we'll do them here. I'm not. I think they are teen. And Shares. Forever in Blue, Girls in Pants. The pants came to us at the perfect moment. That is when we were splitting for the first time. It was 2 summers ago when they first matched the magic, and last summer when they shook up our lives once again. You see, we don't wear the pants year round. We let them rest during the year so that they are extra powerful when summer ends. Okay. Uh, the Briar Queen, Catherine Harbour. Sophia Sullivan and her father left San Francisco to escape the painful memory of her older sister Lily Rose's suicide. But soon after she arrived in Bohemian Fair Hollow, New York, Finn realizes that the placid surface of this picture-perfect town concealed an eerie supernatural world, and its center, the wealthy, beautiful, and terrifying Feder family. Though the striking and mysterious Jack Feder tried to push Finn away to protect her, the attraction between them is too powerful to resist. I have no idea. The ORNATRIX Kate Howard. In this exquisitely dark debut, Kate Howard delivers a stirring tale on the cost of beauty, packed with suspense and period worthy of Kate Moses, Jess Burton, and Tracy Chevalier. Cursed from birth by the bird-shaped blemish across her face, Flavia spends much of her life hidden from the outside world. Lonely and alienated even from her family, she sabotages her sister's wedding in a fit of jealousy rage and is exiled to serve in the convent of Santa Galini. Soon she finds that another exile dwells in the convent, a former Venetian courtesan named Ghosticina, whose ostentatious appearance clashes with the other ways of Stair Convent and sparks gossip throughout the town. And I guess they become friends and stuff. 2015. Oh, we should hang out sometime. Oh, this is a boy. All right, one boy in the midst of a woman. Sorry. Um, when I was 25 years old, it came to my attention that I never had a girlfriend. At the time, I was actually under the impression I was in a relationship, so this bit of news came as a shock to me. That's our solely boy. The rest of girls. We're not going to do any more boys. Monterey Bay, Lindsay Hatton. 1940, 15-year-old Margaret Fisk arrives on the shores of Monterey Bay, California with her eccentric entrepreneur father. Margaret has her father's apprentice all over the world until an accident in Monterey tides pools divides them apart and plunges her headfirst into the mayhem of a John Steinbeck's Cannery Row. Okay. And I'm gonna hope this is a girl because I have no idea. I couldn't say it if I tried. Panic in Suitcase. Panic in a Suitcase. NASMERTOW left Odessa for Brighton Beach, Brooklyn with a huge sense of finality, only to find that divide between the old world and the new world is not as clear-cut as they thought. The collapse of the Soviet Union makes returning just a matter of plane ticket, and the Russian-owned shops in their adopted neighborhoods stock even the most obscure comforts of home. Pursuing the American dream once meant giving up everything, but does the dream still work if the past refuses to grow distant and mythical remain alarming within reach? Lucinda Summer, Vacation. Elizabeth Fackle. Arriving at his mountain home to spend her final... Alright. It says, arriving at his mountain home to spend her summer vacation. Lucinda is disappointed to find Devon's house empty. When he arrives, they have a romantic reunion, but she awakes in the middle of the night to find him gone again. She sees the lights of police cars in the neighbor's yard and surmises that being an ex-cop, he is there. He comes back and tells her his neighbor, the widow Natalie Weiland, has been murdered. Not only does he have to explain to Lucinda as well as the police why he was with Natalie the moment she died, but also why he was in her bedroom at 3 o'clock in the morning. What follows is a trek through guilt and complexity not only for Devon but also for Lucinda and her college-age daughter Amy. Okay. I'm confused. Rainy Day Dreams, Laurie Copeland. It's 1856 and Catherine is convinced her life is over. Her father has sent her to Seattle to find her husband, and the backwoods settlement offers none of the comforts and culture she is accustomed to in San Francisco. Will she find anyone who understands her love of painting, and can she really be expected to work as a maid? Jason has come to Seattle to work in the new sawmill and to escape painful memories of the life he knew before. He has no time for romance, not with the rumors of looming war with the Indians. So why can't he get Catherine out of his mind? Christmas! At least we have something for Christmas. Lisa Jackson, Macy Yates, Stacy Finch, and Nicole Helm. Let's see. The Uneventful Christmas, Annie McFarlane, expected to be suspected suddenly anything. But first, there's the adorable baby left on the snowy doorstep of her Oregon cabin. Second, there's an extremely attractive yet extremely angry man clamoring to be the father. What the cowboy wants for Christmas, Macy Yates. Meg O'Neill is a longtime boyfriend, lets her down again, at Christmas no less. She braves the Oregon blizzard to get to her best friend Noah's comforting arms. But this time Noah's not telling her what she wants to hear. He's telling her the truth from his heart. Stacy Finch, snowed in. Rachel Johnson has found the perfect guy for her second tart me up bakery in Glory Junction, California. Except she's in fierce competition with the hunky bar owner, Bowden Farmer. Worse, while the rice rivals await the city's decision, they end up catering the same Christmas Eve mountaintop wedding. Nicole Helm, a cowboy wedding for Christmas. Big city art teacher Lindsay Tyler isn't just back home in Colorado for her brother's wedding at the Barton Christmas Tree Farm and Ranch. She's back for good. What year is this? Let's see. Wow. 2018. Wow, look at all those books. Um, Cynthia Harold Eagles, The Princeling, the Moreland Dynasty series. The Moreland's rise to power, as tenuous as the unexpected, now faces the greatest threat. Elizabeth I on the throne and Protestant sweeping the land, threatening the position of Catholic Morelands and forcing them to seek new spheres of influence. John the Heir rides north to untamed borderlands to wed the daughter of a Northumberland cattle lord. But he finds he must first prove himself, and to win her heart through blood and battle, John's gentle sister Lettice is given a marriage to a ruthless Scottish baron, and in the treacherous court of Mary, Queen of Scots, she learns the fiercest lessons of survival. The Long Wait, Cynthia Harold Eagles. David has returned for more of his former self. Sister Deanna, newly married, copes with pregnancy alone. Her husband at the front. Aunt Laura, eager for challenge, goes to France with an ambulance, and Betty struggles to manage war, work, and household, while racked with her secret guilt and a new threat of exposure. We should have had this for beach week back in June. You know, I hate when they put stickers over this stuff, and then I can't read it. Alright. This is not working. We'll come back to that. Or we'll do it a different day. Elizabeth Noble, When You Were Mine. Says Susanna has been living with Doug for 8 years, acting as stepmother to his three unappreciative children and wondering why she doesn't mind much when he sometimes sleeps in the study. She knows her best friend Amelia since they were teenagers. Amelia never minces words, and Sophia doesn't like hearing what Amelia has to say about her non-committal relationship. At her brother's wedding, Susanna runs into Rob, her first love, the love of her life. There's no band on his finger, and Susanna begins to fantasize. Her fantasies turn to reality when Rob gives her a call. Susanna's world is rocked by her rekindled feelings for Rob, then totally turns upside down by revelation from Amelia. Just when Susanna and Amelia need each other the most, they are facing a crisis that threatens to tear them apart. Moon over EDISTO, Beth Webb, HART. Once they were happiest family living under the sun, crabbing and fishing and painting on beautiful Edson Island, South Carolina low country. Then everything went wrong, and 20 years later the Bennett family is still in pieces. Mary Ellen still struggles to understand why her picture-perfect marriage came apart. Daughter Meg keeps a death grip on her own family, controlling her relationship at distance. The eldest daughter, Julia, left it all behind years ago, forging a new life as an artist and academic in Manhattan. She's engaged to an art dealer and has no intentions of returning to EDSO ever. Then an emergency forces Julia back to EDSO to care for her three young half-siblings. Grudgingly agrees to stay a week, but then ends staying for a lot longer. Ah. And the last one. Have you seen a shopaholic lately? I read the first two of her shopaholic series, and then it just got old after that. I gotta fix this bending. But the first two in the Shopaholic series are really, really funny. And this is really, really yellow. Remember Me. When 28-year-old Lexi Smart wakes up in London hospital, she's in for a big surprise. Her teeth are perfect, her body's toned, her handbag is Vuitton. Having survived a car accident in Mercedes, no less, Lexi has lost a big chunk of her memory, 3 years to be exact, and she's about to find out how much things have changed. Somehow Lexi went from a 25-year-old working girl to a corporate big shot within a sleek new loft, a personal assistant, a carb-free diet, and a set of glamorous new friends. And who was the gorgeous husband who also happens to be a millionaire? With her mind still struck 3 years in reverse, Lexi greets this brave new world determined to be the person she well seems to be. How old is this? 2008. Oh, Confessions of a Shopaholic and Shopaholic Takes Manhattan. Those are the first two. And I think those are the best of the whole series, but there's a whole lot after that. But this is quite yellow. And that is the end of our box of lady authors. Did you find somebody good? Did you find somebody new? Don't know. On to charity they go. Have a good day.